The Amazing Race specialists, Kyle and McKenna, are back, and we are here to talk about season 38, episode 1, the premiere. We are back racing around the world, and this time there's a big twist. It's all Big Brother players. Each team, aside from one, has only one Big Brother player on it, and then their relative, their spouse, significant other. So, Kyle, let's get into it. What were your thoughts on the premiere?
Well, so I am a huge Big Brother fan, so this does excite me to see all these people back. But I do understand for a lot of people why this wouldn't be a very interesting theme for a season. And I enjoyed the premiere, but I know a lot of people weren't, and I definitely get that.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite premiere. It just didn't feel like it felt like Amazing Race Light because it's only in Europe, and I feel like I don't know if it's going to challenge as many people as like all over the country, all over the world does. I'm fine with like having all Big Brother people on it because that dynamic is going to be really interesting, and it proved that with Kyland and Taylor winning the Express Pass and who to give it to.
Yeah, which we just talk about that. They made a terrible choice because they gave it to Jag, who holds the record for most competition wins in a season. When you have someone like, Angela or Rubina,
even if you want to protect the winners, I feel like Chelsea
Taylor are friends.
A good idea. Yeah.
Giving it to Jag, I thought was wild, and just the result of the episode even further highlighted how big of a mistake this is probably going to be.
So let's dive into this episode. We are starting it off in the Netherlands, and we get right into them going to their first challenge, which I thought was absolutely crazy. So I guess they're trying to incorporate Big Brother into this a little bit, because we all know Big Brother, you get introduced into the house, and more recent seasons, it's like, all right, what challenge are you going to have to do to secure an advantage, safety, what have you? So they have to do this 10-pin bowling on sleds. The winner gets an express pass. The loser has to complete a hazard this leg. And we have Angela and Jag miss the clue box completely. They're heading inside with the rest of the teams who have already read clues, and then they're off to a bad start.
Yes, they are. This challenge I thought was really funny. I loved this challenge. If you and I were doing it, I would want to be on the sled.
Your reach is so much bigger than mine.
That's true. Logistically, that would make more sense.
But you have longer legs to maybe hit those
That's true.
pins. So like there's pros and cons.
There's pros and cons to both.
Were people switching at all?
I didn't notice anybody switching, but they could have. I don't know if it's one of those situations where if you lock yourself in at the start, you have to stick with what you picked. But some teams were really good. Some teams were terrible.
Yeah, I was expecting Taylor and Kyland to do really well at this, because Kyland also has done a few seasons of the challenge, and he's been a pretty beast there, doing kind of carnival game style stuff. So I expected almost this outcome with Kat and her boyfriend coming in second, which shocked me.
That shocked me as well. I did not expect her to do so well. Izzy also surprised me this episode, because she wasn't known for being great at competitions on Big Brother. But her and her fiance really impressed me.
So what didn't surprise me though was Enzo winding up with the hazard.
Hey, that's fellow challenge finalist Enzo Palumbo.
I forgot. I forgot about his stint in USA. But he quit out of the challenge,
Yes,
so
he
I don't
did.
know.
It didn't surprise. It didn't surprise me either. Unfortunately, Enzo. He might be my favorite character in all of Big Brother. He's just so fun. Everything he says
Overconfident.
is yes. I mean, it's just everything about him is hilarious to me. But him coming in last in that challenge, and then ultimately in the leg, not to bury the lead, but not a surprise at all.
So why, if we're allowing Taylor and Kylan to be together, why are we allowing Rubina and Tucker to be separate? I feel like that's almost more unfair than Tucker and Rubina together.
I don't know what they allowed and why they didn't, but what I heard, this is just a rumor, is that Taylor wanted to do this, couldn't find anyone to do it with her, and then Kyland was the only person who would do it, and like they really wanted Taylor. Like if you're going to do a season like this, you know, you got to get Taylor. So I think that was the only way they could make it work for her, because for everybody else, you know, they have somebody else.
Right. So then after they deal with this challenge here, they have to go to Grotkirk. And that's where Phil is meeting them there. They all come in. Phil gives the, you know, speech, and people introduce themselves, and then he's like, all right, but you didn't win just one express pass, you won two, give it to someone. And so Kyland is like, all right, well, you know, I want to give it to Hannah. And then Taylor's like, well, I want to give it to Joseph, but the way that they want to further their games, because they know they're locked in, is to give it to someone else. And here's where they choose Jag and his brother. And they wind up winning the leg, and not due to the express pass.
No. Yeah, I don't get it. Even if you want to branch out, which I think is a good strategy, you know, you have so many other people to pick from. Literally any other team, probably except for Tucker and his brother. I would have picked before. I would have picked Jazz and Jag. So we'll see if this comes back to bite them. Taylor and Kyland are my winner pick for this season. But they're already starting off in a bit of a slow start here. They kind of put themselves in the hole.
Yes. But everyone was, a lot of this episode was in a pack. So maybe next episode we might see a little bit of some, you know, shifting. But we get Phil's like, go here. They like come and almost pit stop, and then here's where they're actually starting the race. And so they have to go to find this port. And their route info that they get there is to ride a tandem bike to the next station, and then the hazard, you have to eat one herring each and ride a clog bike before going to the next station. Kyle, I'm not the biggest bike rider, so this is gonna be an issue.
We would have a problem here.
We almost would have been better off in the clog.
We would have been better off getting the clog bike, eating the fish, and then only having one person paddle. I agree.
But this bike ride was just it was really interesting. Enzo and Matt getting lost here. Matt didn't know where a port was. Is a duck a port? Is like he was completely
he
lost.
was so lost.
And they were walking around on foot for so long.
Yeah, they were. They didn't know where to go. They needed some guidance from the other teams. Enzo needed some guidance from the other teams. Yeah, they just couldn't see it. Sometimes you miss that yellow and red, you know?
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, Matt got some help from people from, I think it was Jag, who already had completed this next task, to be like, all right, hey guys, here, these are your bikes, and go that way.
Yeah. Which, by the way, it is going to be weird getting used to calling him Matt, because he went by Turner on Big Brother, but now we have two Turners. So,
yep. Exactly.
It's Matt.
So now he's Matt. Because I was so confused when it was, because I was writing down some of the people in the finish, and I was like, who is Matt? Who is Matt? And then it came back with the lower third. I'm like,
Turner.
Right.
If you didn't know it, you would think that he was like the unhappiest person to ever be on this race. He was in such a mood this whole episode. Yeah.
So the next thing that they had to do was stack some cheese and walk with it. They got this like little canoe rack thing.
I don't know what you would call that.
Sled, but it's curved.
Yeah, curved sled.
Curved sled. Yeah, there you go. They had to walk a little bit to get to these boats that had cheese balls on it. They had to catch them 2 at a time and then stack them on this sled, 4, 3, 2, 1 into a pyramid, and then walk with that back. And I thought, based on Jag and Jess, that it would be so much easier. And then we have Tucker and his brother struggling to construct.
They couldn't even lift the pyramid.
Yeah, everything kept shifting and falling over, and then all of a sudden we see teams catch up to them. So it really shows that they didn't have that much of a lead, or they blew that much of a lead.
Yeah, I think they may have blown that much of a lead, because every time they tried to pick the thing up, it would just collapse. And that part did look pretty hard. Stacking the thing up, I don't think would have been as difficult. The transporting is the part that I think would have been the most difficult.
For sure, because it's like getting the straps attached, then actually lifting up, and then moving. I mean, some people were going slow, fast, hunched over. I don't know. That would have been a rough one for sure. We got so much route info this episode. We did not get it before. I know. At least this route. I feel like they're using route info nowadays to say, we want them to just do this one task and not do a detour. And it's like, okay, but can we call it something like the direct path?
Yeah, there are other road things that we haven't used yet. You know,
I think so. I mean, now we have the hazard. There's other.
I was going to say the fork in the road, but that was a thing already last season.
Yeah, right. But I feel like there's a different thing that we could use where it's like, no, you're doing this one thing. We don't have 2 options. But I feel like the premiere should have a detour.
I think it should. Yeah, I think it should have been. We could have not done the opening challenge. For the
or that could have been the cheese versus the sleds.
Yeah, cheese versus the sled. Yeah. That could have been it. So I don't know why they chose to do it this way. I don't think we needed an express pass in the premiere.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a curious format here. It's a bit of a herky-jerky kind of format in this leg here.
Yeah, I'm hopeful for the rest of the season that it's gonna like boost my positivity on it. Right now I'm a little mid and not as excited, but I'm hoping that it's just a slow burn right now. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into some of the gameplay and all.
We need some more character. I think we need some more character moments here. I think that was one thing.
Non BB players, and then the interactions between the BB players too.
Yes. Yeah, I want to see that dynamic.
Now we're going to this football fields upon football fields of flowers.
Yes.
And it's so beautiful. And who is feeling fresh as a daisy?
All right. So I was of two minds on this.
Okay.
One, you just planned a wedding. And so you had like I feel like you may have like floral arrangements on the mind. You can have an eye
Mhm.
for that. But I also think I might need to take advantage of all the non-height related things whenever there's one that comes up. I might need to take advantage of it. So I'm
You
gonna
seem
say,
you seem to have forgotten that I just told our florist, "These are the colors due."
oh,
So
but that's more than what I did. But with all that, I think I would probably do this one.
nice, and I think your attention to detail is pretty good
I
also,
would think so
so
too, because like this must have been harder than it looked, to be quite honest,
Mhm.
because you only have so many possibilities. Now, I did the math on this. There are about 446 million combinations of 9 flowers of 42 options. But when you narrow down the colors, like I feel
Okay.
like it becomes, I
Oh
would
my
think, a little bit easier. Yeah.
math is insane.
It's crazy that there's that many.
Yeah. So one interesting fact is Rubina's sister is a florist.
Yes.
So they were able to do really well on this section. And Izzy is more of the creative mind, so going more toward the creative detour or roadblock here.
Mhm.
Um, and I feel like there weren't really anything else that stood out to like why some people were chosen to do this
Yeah, I don't
roadblock.
think so. It was just seemed not
Mhm.
random, but just arbitrary. That's the word I'm
Yes.
thinking of.
The last shot with Enzo walking up with his not sorry, Enzo's brother walking up with his flowers
Mhm.
and after Matt had gotten his check. We didn't get him like the guy examining his flowers like directly. And
Yeah,
so I was like, well, this is definitely he got to know and he had to go out for another trip or two
yeah.
because they wanted us to make it seem like this was a tighter race than it was. And
They did the
for a
classic
second,
thing.
I was like, oh, he's right behind. This could be an actual, fight to the finish. No.
No, they always get me. They always get me. Yeah, they always make you think there's a chance. And whenever there is a chance, they will tell you, like in the preview or
Right
in the
to the
commercials. Right,
finish.
we
Yeah.
saw it last year with Pops, or late last
Mhm.
season with Pops and Jeff. The one that I did with you a couple of years ago, with Scott and Ian, and was
Yep.
it Liam and Jeremy? Was it at the photo finish, or
Yeah,
was it
I
a
think
different team?
so.
Um, where they hyped that up. So if it ever
Mhm.
does happen, like you will know before the episode actually starts, which is like I
That's
wish
yeah.
I didn't know, but
Mhm.
that's just it is what it is. That's how they do
One
it.
thing that's interesting about this facility, though, they're on a timer. So if you didn't get
Yeah.
there in the daylight, you had a headlamp and had to go in the dark, and that's wild. Like, did something take longer, or are they just like forcing the back of the pack teams to suffer more?
I don't know. I mean, I think it was just a byproduct of the location that they were in.
Mhm.
They wanted to do this flower challenge, and it was
'Cause
like,
it was
you know,
within the first 4 teams that this
oh, it was early.
yeah,
Yeah, it was way
everyone's
early.
in the
So
dark.
I think that perhaps this would have been better as the first task
Mhm.
of the leg,
Or
so that you
yeah,
didn't run into this issue. And if you
exactly.
did, then it would really be on the teams in last place.
Right.
Like you had hours to do this.
Mhm.
But most of these teams didn't even have a fair chance.
Yeah. It the fact that pretty much everybody except for Jas and Tucker's brother
Yeah.
had the darkness, that's insane.
Those are definitely the two teams that need an advantage, right?
Yeah,
Jag
right?
and Tucker, those are the two guys. Now, I bet though that we'll get an equalizer or some sort at the beginning of the next leg, to offset the time. But even still, that was a
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wonder what the time difference is going into this next leg at when they're leaving,
Yeah.
and how far ahead and behind people are. So we
Mhm.
have um, Jas and Jag checking into the pit stop in first place, and they get 2,500 each.
It's
Nothing to
not
sneeze
bad.
at. Nothing
Not
to
bad.
sneeze at.
My favorite part of that was when they were celebrating, and then they immediately pulled Tucker and his brother in celebrating, and it was like those two guys were like seconds away from they just lost $5,000, man.
Yeah,
They don't want to celebrate with you.
yeah. Um, so right, Tucker was second place. Izzy and her fiance in third place, which I don't know how that happened because they were like last leaving the sled. So I was like, is this going to foreshadow the rest of the leg? And they kept cruising the entire time.
They did. I was really impressed. I was
Mm-hmm.
really impressed. They fought from the bottom. They almost got the hazard at the beginning of the episode.
Yep,
And
exactly.
they came all the way back and got third.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Rabina in fourth, Natalie in fifth, Chelsea in sixth, Hannah in seventh. Joseph, I feel like could have made it maybe a little bit higher because he just took way too long celebrating that he got the clue
yeah,
in the
yeah.
flower shop. He was just like screaming and hollering all over the place, and I'm just like, guys,
Guys,
let's
yeah.
go, move along, grab the clue.
I was surprised that he slipped so far down. I didn't feel like he was as low
Yeah.
as he ended up placing.
Right? Kyland and Taylor in ninth, Angela and her daughter in 10th. Kind of about where I expected Angela to
Definitely
be.
about where I expected them to be.
Kat at 11th. Kat had a rough episode this
Oh yeah,
episode
we didn't even talk
with
about the wardrobe malfunction.
Oh, that's right. So
Yeah,
this is what set Kat off at the start of the episode pretty much is they had to go back and give the bandana back because
yeah,
they had to disrobe everything, and so keeping the bandana they did not want to incur a penalty, and so that set their placement behind, but if they were that good before maybe they can just slowly inch back up, but
yeah, yeah.
Kat's mind was like
That's the
not
thing.
fully in it the
That's
rest
what
of
I
the.
was gonna say. Is that it affected her mentally? So perhaps on a fresh start in a new leg, um, she doesn't like let this affect her.
Right.
Um, just thinking about how much farther ahead they could have been. Because that
Mhm.
can affect you. So see how she
Yeah.
reacts to it.
And I was shocked that she was the one to do the roadblock when she was kind of just feeling
Yeah,
emotional. And it's something you can see that it's flowers, so it has to be something with a flower arrangement and detail, things like
yeah.
that, where it's like you really got to focus and kind of put everything to the side. And she just, I feel, left everything
Yeah,
buzzing
she
around.
struggled in this. So I was surprised she did it. I was not surprised that Matt did it. He was red hot. He was he wanted to get this done.
Yep. Yeah. So they checked in 12th with Enzo the Meow Meow, leaving here the first episode in 13th. I did expect Enzo to be in the back of the pack. I don't know who I expected to be out first, but I'm not shocked that it's Enzo.
Not a shock. I think him and like Kat and Alex were probably like my two picks to
Mm-hmm.
be the first boot, and um, yeah,
Well,
not surprised.
pretty
Rip to the meow
close.
meow.
um, so you have stated your winner picks are Kyland and Taylor, right?
Yeah, which I was surprised that they were as far back as they
Mhm.
were too. They got ninth. That was really surprising. Um, yeah,
They had a
I think I've made it
confessional.
clear.
They had a confessional
Yeah,
saying that their communication can be a bit off and
yeah,
that they're using the race to try and help with that. what are your thoughts moving forward in the
Hey,
longevity
I
with
like
that
that. Hey,
potential?
they are still together from what I can tell. So I guess it must be their communication must be better now. We'll see. The race is a
Mhm.
pressure cooker for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we know Kyland is I like Kylan, but he can be a bit of a tough person to like communicate with, and
Mhm.
like he can be very stubborn.
Yep.
Um, so I don't know exactly how they'll do. I think their strength and challenges is really why
Mhm.
I picked them.
Yeah.
But after this episode, I'm kind of looking actually more at Tucker and Eric going
Mhm.
forward. They would
I
be
have
my choice.
4 teams that I really like. I like Tucker, Izzy, Rabina, and Natalie, and they all came
Mhm.
in within the top
Top
5, which
five.
I'm really excited about. Um, I it's always and all and 3 of them are female team, which odds of them winning aren't high with The Amazing Race. It hasn't been
Yeah.
done much. It's
Mhm.
only been a handful of teams. But I don't know, maybe Natalie and her sister could do it. I
Mhm. They're
Natalie's
another
been
one who are looking to looking to
well,
like strengthen their communication and strengthen their relationship. So I'm very interested to see how her and her sister get
the
along.
Tucker Rabina dynamic is gonna be really interesting because they are on separate teams, so they can look out for each other as much as possible, but at the same time, it's like, "Okay, I wanna win,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
do I ditch you?" Or, because there are those times where teams work together, but I finished and you messed
Can't
up or
just hang
whatever,
around
you
for you
know?
to finish. Yeah,
Exactly.
so that's where I think this is going to get really interesting, is these dynamics and these people who are really close.
Mhm.
Um, we have friends, but then these people are in an actual relationship, so that's going to be
So
interesting.
over on the Patreon, Celestina and I are doing route info, which is something we dive a little bit deeper into certain topics that happen in the episode. We kind of ripped off Phil and Blake with digging deeper. So we're doing route info. And this week we talked about Big Brother players on The Amazing Race. Shocking, I know. Um, but you can catch us over on Patreon. Typically, it will be on the weekends because we are a little bit shuffled because the premiere was on the Thursday, but we had to do
Mhm.
the rewind on the Thursday. So we will get back into a groove where The Amazing Race will also be on Thursdays as well. Um, Other than that, Kyle also has a YouTube channel.
Oh
So
my gosh, I'm
yeah,
getting a
we're
shout
plugging
out.
that. Yeah, we're plugging
Whoa.
that because he does some Survivor content over there. I just watched his most recent video this morning. It's called Matt Chat, not to be confused with Tegwa's show
Sorry,
here on
Tegworth.
Specialist.
I made that channel
Uh,
2 years ago. I'm sorry.
yeah, not to be confused with Tegwa's show Matt Chat, but it is its own separate channel. So Kyle, if you want to say a little bit of what you do over on there.
Oh wow. Well, I just make any Survivor video idea that I can think of. I just did who I think is the best player for each placement. So who I think is the best 20th placer, 19th placer, and down the list. I do a lot of player rankings. I just have a lot of fun with it. So if you have any suggestions for video ideas, let me know, and I would love to do them.
Alrighty, so I think, Kyle, unless you have anything else you want to say, that concludes this episode of The Amazing Race. And we will see you later this week
Yep, in a
because
few
we have
days
the
we'll be back.
episode. Alrighty, bye everyone. Thanks for watching.